Alright, hi everybody. It's Bonkai922. Time for episode reviews. Specifically, Maoyuu Maou Yuusha. Episode 3. This one was called Where Have You Where Have You Been? Where have you been? This one was different. This one was actually pretty damn good. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. It was a mixture of stuff. We had, obviously, Yuusha and Mao, Demon King, Demon Queen, what do you want to call it? Her and the hero, Yuusha. In the beginning of the episode, they basically go into the fields and seeing the progress of the fields and saying, oh, they're doing well, and so on and so forth. And the fields, what they're planting, one of the things they're planting in that field, I believe, is potatoes. And, that was the beginning scene. And then later on, they go to their house, their mansion, and they see, the serfs that they brought up as maids are doing fine. They're doing very well. They're getting used to life there. And what they decide to do what happens in this episode is Yuusha and Mao decide to go to a covenant. Well, it's this town area that is near a lake, country lake, I believe. And the story is, I believe from what in this episode was they were trying to get them to have potatoes. More importantly, agriculture. They were trying to get to this covenant the idea of planting these potatoes, because potatoes, as much as you know what the stories with potatoes, agriculture, is they don't need, they could be in soil that's been, they don't need they could be grown in the harshest kind of conditions. At least the whole thing. Now, they go to this covenant, and they're going to talk to the main, nun of the covenant. And the main nun of the covenant is the female knight. Now, surprisingly enough, when I first saw this and first found out who played the female knight, I was actually surprised. I was like, what? I know that voice actor. The one who plays the female knight in this show is the same broad who plays Inaba from Kokoro Connect. I was like, what? That's pretty good. So overall, what happens is they're at the covenant trying to get this thing done, and female knight comes in and she realizes, where have you been? White swordsman and everything, and she slaps him, boom, slap in the face. The reason being, because he left them to fight the Demon King, and she finds out that she's in the arms of a woman. There was a lot of romance involved in this episode, too. There was a lot of romance, some fan service. So, I'll get on to that. So, she explains to Mao, Demon King, the situation. And she obviously lies to female knight. She obviously lies. And what happened was, when he left Yuusha, the female knight decided to go with, decided to join this covenant and everything. And she was explaining how there was 2 other people among their group. Because there was the knight, there was the hero, there was the mage, and then there was this perverted old guy. I don't know who the perverted old guy was. But she's explaining what happened to everybody. The perverted old guy decided to take the money and run. Whoa. and go and live a life of luxury, more or less. Her, you saw, found out what the female knight was doing, and this was after he left them. They decided to fight the Demon King by himself. And he was explaining, the female knight was basically explaining this. And then the sage, I say sage, my apologies, mage, decided to go to the Demon King, the demon world, to find the hero. And he was surprised about this and worried and everything, and so on and so forth. And basically, this is kind of tension happening now between the female knight and Demon King, you know, Mao. And he's like, caught between a rock and a hard place, you know, two girls fighting for him. At least to say, you know, it's resolved, and you know, the business that they had with her is resolved, and she gets introduced to this dish, potatoes. And then what Mao's saying is, she doesn't want financial compensation from them. Instead, later on she wants it, but not now. She says, I just want you to teach the skills to the people of these villages how to agriculture, how to plant this vegetable, how to plant it, how to harvest it, and so on and so forth, and then start developing covenants around the area and spread the word. And basically, this is the whole gist of the show. That she's trying to end starvation, that she's trying to end the war. That is what Mao, you know, Demon King, is trying to do. Which is great. Fucking great. That's awesome. And that's her whole mission. That's a whole mission. I mean, you know? And she's decided to do that. Now, obviously, Yuusha is disturbed by the whole mage thing. When they leave is so funny. Now, she obviously, the female knight from this encounter was worried about him. That was the whole bit. And he said sorry and everything, you know, and so on and so forth. That's a fire hydrant. What ends up happening as they leave, you know, she's saying, oh, you bumped into your old flame. And he tells him, well, that's nothing to do. It's not that kind of relationship. You know. The rest of the episode, pretty much what happened was nothing really. I mean, they just went and talking then about not only were they talking about agriculture in this, they were talking about economy in this, economics in this, with the merchants. And the merchants, what we see in the episode is we see these merchants get this compass from these people, from Mao. So they see some tension we see some tension going on here, saying that they obviously, the people who made this compass, because the guy says, the merchant says, I got it from this person, wants probably compensation for it. And they're basically saying from that degree to keep a watch out for these people when it concerns our, thing. The rest of the episode, basically what happens is Yuusha, the hero, wants to go to the demon world to find the mage and save her. And, you know, Mao is so like, oh, she's like so in love with him and shit. It's obvious. And you know, and she says, oh, you think I was going to stop you? He eventually goes, he gets armor. She gives him armor and stuff. And then we have another scene with the head maid, and she tells, and fan service heavy, this scene. And she's like saying, oh, you for 2 months, you've been nothing but holding hands and everything. And she starts playing with her boobs. I'm like, no, playing with her boobs and juggling them. I'm like, God damn it, come on. And that's the whole bit. And they have like a little meeting and, you know, together. And he doesn't kiss her like on the lips. He kisses her on her forehead. She's like, she's upset about it. And he leaves. Basically, Yuusha's going there to save his friend. And she gives him this note to to send to the other leaders of the demon world for safe passage. Now, more or less, and that's pretty much that was pretty much all of the episode. Now, more or less, thoughts on it. I really liked this episode because they were going into the details of our agriculture, the merchants. That was really good. I love that shit. Not only that, you got this kind of added romance to it with Mao and the female knight and some fan service in the end with the jiggling of the boobs. Which, you're like, okay. But yeah, it was all good. I like where this is going. Now, next week, episode is, it's more along the lines that he left and she's lonely and she's hoping for his safe return, and so on and so forth. The whole bit behind this show, like I said before, is they're trying to create a world beyond. There's a world behind the hill, over the hill. A world without starvation, a world without war. It's like the alteration piece. Because the whole bit is that the war, as long as the war continues, things will be prosperous. But if the war ends, it won't be. It'll be terrible. The economy will plummet. All these things will happen. But if they can create like a widespread of food and knowledge of so and so forth, then they can prevent this and they can create a perfect place. A world without starvation, like I just said, and a world without war. That's the whole bit. That's the whole premise of this show, more or less. That the Demon King and the hero Yuusha are trying to accomplish. Which I love. I really like this show because of this. It's a goal. Yeah, it's a goal that they're trying to achieve, and you really, I like that this show has this. So, yeah, great. So, and that's all I got for you guys. So, I love the fact that they're doing this. They're going this route with this show. Like I said, next week should be a little different because obviously she's worrying because he's left and he's going to the demon world to save the mage. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. The only other thing I forgot to mention, he was talking about what he was offered by the merchants, the parade and everything. It was just nothing else mentioned. But anyway, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, 4 out of 5, great episode. Like I said, go see it. Go see this show. Go watch this show, people. Go watch. It's education. It's answers, romance, action. Can't ask for anything more. This has been Bonkai 922. See you guys later. Sell some boob play in this. Jiggling of boobs. See ya.